funny, I came in to speak with an idea of what I would begin with. I found a message on my screen from my sister. Mum has been told she has 3 to 6 months to live. That's quite a strange thing to actually consider. The weight of it. That's all I've got. I've got to live. To live. Well, obviously it also means left. That's how long it will take for you to die. Until you die. You've got 3 to 6 months of passing away, slowly but surely, losing the ability to be yourself until at some point you go. You just let go of it. It is let go of. You know that you're old, you know that you're ill, you know that you're dying, but what does that really mean? You still have a sense of who you are, but things are failing. You can't use your hand like you used to. You just have no strength. You can't toilet yourself. You can't take care of normal toileting situation. You certainly can't take care of diarrhea where it's everywhere. You need help. So now you're living differently, and slowly but surely if you haven't let it go, it's letting go of you. So for someone like my mum, being told that by professional people, giving you some idea of the finite time you have left, that can be very profound. It can make quite a difference. It's got to affect her, because it still doesn't mean anything. It could be 3 months, it could be 6 months, it could be less, it could be more. People have been told you only have 6 months to live, and 10 years later they're still going. I'm not saying that she'll be going 10 years, but it's possible that she's going longer. It's only an estimation. They don't know these things so precisely, but they understand what they see, that she's not well and she needs to go. It's not about we must do everything to keep her here longer, and in keeping her here longer we must do everything to make her stay. Obviously she should be comfortable, but so that she can be who she is, that she has a quality of life, that you go places and you do things and people see you. You enjoy the things you enjoy and you eat the things you like to eat. But then your body starts to fail and you need to be looked after like a baby. Have you done a poo today? Did you do a poo? Oh yes, I've done a poo. Or oh no, I haven't done a poo. She just answers those questions matter of factly. The vanity, the aspects of what it means, which she was just fairly recently resistant to. No, I don't want. Oh yes, of course she would still have dignity. Yes, the dignity thing. What is dignity? A sense of who you think you are, a sense of importance, a sense of how you like it to be. Especially if you've lived on your own, as she has for a long, long time. She has her way. She was so set, the conditioned thinking, the routines that she had when I came into this were very challenging to work with. But slowly, as time has gone on, some of them were slowly eroded, some of them now had to be let go of, and slowly this dignity has been eroded. She's often confused. She forgets her daughter's name, so she'll say, "Hello, Bubs," but actually Bubs means she doesn't have to remember her name. Works. It's a coping mechanism. It's something she might have said anyway, but actually Nicola has had experiences already with her where she just couldn't remember for whatever reason. It's not a dementia thing. It could just simply be an over-medication thing, or just an old age thing. But these are the signs that she's going. She's too weak, too frail to be alive, and yet we know medicine can keep people alive, with the right equipment, far longer than they would otherwise stay alive. Even people who are in coma can be kept alive, as long as there's an intention to do so, for a long time, even if they never recover. Or people, let's say, who've had major accidents and brain damage, and they're not going to recover, but they can still be kept alive. See, this is a heaviness for her. Now she's got to come to terms with that thought, because she'll think about it and it will weigh heavily on her. Will she find a kind of acceptance? That's possible, and in going through that process, she will let go of, she will no longer hold on to things that previously were still important. She still wants to know what's going on and pay the bill, and she can't just let go and let those around her do it. She wants to she's used to it. But actually none of that matters. If you've got 3 to 6 months to live, you don't need to be concerned about renewing your ISA, making sure your account has the best interest. You don't have to be concerned with this stuff. It's soon to be not. And I struggled with what I saw as a reluctance to face the truth. And I would say to her, if you cannot or choose not to, or are not willing to reflect on things as they actually are, but you are used to or prefer denial, then suffering has to come to bring you into the present. Something has to change. Something has to become so much harder that you simply can't do it anymore. It's interesting to be told that. How did it come up? Somebody asked a question. Was it simply, do you want to know? Mum, would she have asked, how much longer have I got? It's possible, yeah, in the right circumstance, in the right moment. And it's very dramatic. It's a very dramatic aspect. A dramatic aspect has been added. There is now this idea of true finite. It will end this point. Tuesday, the August the it's a bizarre idea, but yet if you were told that, oh my God, you just sort of, what does it do? Well, I suppose we're going to find out. Right now, what does it do to me? What does that mean? I don't know. I really don't know. There have been so many moments along the way where it looked like, even when I was first here, that the next step was palliative care, that she's literally declined, she's declining, there's no way back from this. And yet, somehow, she comes back. She has amazing resilience. She's not ready to go, so she's carrying on. Now it's got to the point, or at least it had got to the point, and it's at that point where she needs assistance. She needs to be looked after properly 24/7 by people who can do everything that she needs without it overwhelming them. That aspect I don't have any problem with. Her being somewhere, her becoming less. I would be okay with being with her. I could sit with her if she was talking less, just being less, just being still, be happy to have company, happy to listen to what was going on, what's been happening, what's the news. But there's nothing for her to say because there's no news for her. She's just there. Maybe the other people, the nurses, but I would be able to be with her. I would be okay with spending time with her. If the television wasn't just on, she's just watching it. Because I don't find being in hospitals particularly appealing. But if I can be still, if she's still, when she's still, I can be with her. Maybe that will happen. To me, she still had belligerence. She still had, I'm not ready to let go of being in control. Hearing news like that may be the final beginning of that. I can't hold on to it any longer anyway. That it's going, and it's going by the very idea of the weight. The weight of that idea is heavy. So, oh, it's like, I believe that. It's heavy, so it becomes real. It's real for her. Yes, when some people are told those things, they might want to do things. They're not at a stage where they physically struggle. They make a no. I want to get to my granddaughter's wedding in December. It's only March. I'm intending to, and maybe they do. It means that they don't have to take the full weight of that idea, or they're postponing it, or they need a hell of a lot more time to get their head around it before they just experience it, because at some point it's no longer a choice, and even it's no longer an idea. Let me put it that way. You've got 3 to 6 months to live. Okay, you're dying tomorrow. You'll be dead by tomorrow. That's how do you accept that one? Really, what's going to happen is that the death process sort of just happens. Will we be around it? Will I be there for it? It's possible. I probably would be. What's important for me is to find a way to share this last part of her journey, while also being able to let go and go away and leave it to other people to care for her physically. I can connect with her energetically differently, where it goes beyond mind, beyond thought, beyond ideas, beyond who she used to think she was. If that structure breaks down enough, then perhaps there's room for me to be with her on another level. Yeah. And I'm open to that, for sure. So at some point I'm sure that I will speak to Nicola or something, but it's funny how she just put that. Is it serious for her? Is it an inevitability? Does it help? Does it say, look, there's going to be a finite, this is going to end soon? And that makes a difference. if it's really going to end soon, and when you tell somebody something like that and it's heavy for them and they believe it, then it becomes true. They accept the situation that would otherwise previously have been resisted. They no longer are insisting on a particular outcome. So they just believe that. It marries itself together. The end game. So that I have space, and that's how it is from now on. Then I can find a way. I can find a way there. I can find a way to her in a way that will make sense of it. To help her let go. To help her as she lets go. To be there during that process and experience whatever it's going to be like. That this thing that kind of seemed like it could go on forever, there was no end to it. There were just phases. Up, down, up, down. Changes were happening through each of the aspects of the cycle, but yet it seemed like, as you live in the present, as I do, as I try to accept and be in this moment as I am, it continues. It just continues. There are no chapters and set points. There's no thinking, deciding, believing. It just is. It is what it is. Dealing with it day by day by day. So that thought, that idea of 3 to 6 months, it will change things in many ways. It will make people begin to notice that it will be missing, and then it will make them deal with that feeling in a real way. Because I don't know, it still seems strange when I observe some of the interactions and the connections with other people. It seems like they don't really care. Yeah, people will step up and it will be, well, whatever it is, I don't know. But what I've seen, what has occurred over the last few days, and the realization that has come from it, whatever will happen will be unimaginable and absolutely right. See? Got knockings on doors. Let me leave that running because I'll be back. Medication, that's what you see. It's tempting to, I even turned the bell off. But, the guy wants to deliver some meds for Mum, and he knocks. He knows there's an old person here, doesn't know whether the bell works, but even that, I still can't let go. I can't isolate myself. I want to be in a recording studio booth, completely isolated from the world, and not be interfered with or interrupted until I'm finished. It doesn't matter that I go downstairs and take in, thank you very much. But, you know, I know that not too many weeks ago, if I was making a recording or doing something, it could have definitely felt like an intrusion. I would have resisted it. I just wouldn't have bothered. And it would have meant more complication. It probably would have meant I walk up to pick up the thing. It doesn't matter, but I'm interfering with the flow. It means that I'm interfering with the natural flow of things instead of flowing with it. I have felt that the change is coming, and therefore it will become easier. It will be different, and it hasn't, and it's gone on. It's almost a year. It's almost a year since I came back, and this year has been an incredibly challenging time for everyone, for many people, in many ways. This is just my experience of it. Have I imagined a time what it would be like without this? Not really, because I can't go there. It's going to be very different, but it's not time for that yet, so I don't have to imagine something that doesn't exist. I can allow it to come in its own timing, because there's still a lot of this particular reality to finish, to play out, and that could change things tremendously. So there's no point in deciding I can see things from here and work towards what it is I see from here. I don't really see it anyway. This has been so real to me. It has become so real to me, even though I don't see it as real. It is a moment in my life experience, heavy, powerful as they are when you're in the present with it, dealing with it. It has become very real to me by the very nature of its simplicity. There's been very little to distract me from it, and intentionally so. It has been the opposite of escaping and running away, while at the same time still finding a way to escape and be different and be separate psychologically, internally, as I've talked about in other recordings. I'm still following a similar regime. I'm still taking my tincture. I'm still recognizing and also experiencing it at the same time. I'm just seeing 3 people enter into the field and just be out walking, and suddenly it makes me feel like I could be doing that, and I think I should. It's not wet, it's not that cold, there's still quite a bit of light left, and it's so lovely to go out and just be spontaneous and just... there's not many routes I go, but I do it in a spontaneous way. And I can stop and I can sit and I can come back into whatever comes after this. Just enjoy being in the presence, in the solitude. The 3 to 6 months, it's been interesting to come across it. Doesn't change anything. We're still living day by day by day. She's still in hospital. There's an attachment, a handle thing, which I probably mentioned, that should be arriving today for her. Still got to eat. Still got to chop wood and carry water, or the equivalent of it in hospital. You've still got to do it. You're still doing it. If you're still here, it's not finished. Story's not over yet. Once the physical aspects of her day-to-day life are taken care of, so that she has what she needs and I don't feel affected by what it is that she has to go through to continue, then it leaves room for me to connect with her on a level, the only level that I could possibly do it with. Sort of in the reverse of what happened with Emily, that when she arrived as a baby, it took me a while. I was looking at her, I was watching as she grew, and as her physical needs were taken care of by Sarah, and I was supporting Sarah and Emily and slowly watching her become somebody I recognized, that I could recognize. I could see her in there. And as soon as I could see her in there, I knew how to help her come out. And so it feels like it's the opposite, that with all of this stuff been removing, that the simplicity of who she just is, the essence of her left, I could see her who she is, and I'll recognize that. It's not that it will be a surprise, because I've had glimpses of it. It's just, it's so fleeting, and it's impossible to hold that. It's only an experience that you have. Even though I can hold for a moment the awareness of having had it, the structure that now sees it, that the structure that is used to think about things, can't experience the experience of it in its remembering. It has to go. Even when I read things that I've written at the time of having intense, unusual, mystical, whatever experiences, still sometimes are descriptions of somebody else, somebody who used to be but isn't. He's in me, but he's not me. I'm me. I'm the only me I know in this moment, here, talking. Those things are memories of a reality that no longer exists in my present, at least in my awareness of it. It exists because I can remember it. Does it exist outside of my ability to be aware that it exists or existed? And these are just things, plays, experiences of life involving other people and feeling and doing and being that somehow gave me the experience I needed in order to move to the next and the next and the next. It's a continuous process. It just continues. And even if, like this, is a kind of time out, where I take the time out, I'm on the whole completely separate and not affected by anybody else, and can let go of all non-essential material ideas, only entering things my way, doing it my way, earplugs in, walking when I want. That freedom to do it doesn't come as a right. I don't have a right to do it, as much as everyone should have the opportunity to be able to, and it's very wonderful to have it. I don't have it as a right. I only have it because I'm here, and I'm only here because she's here. So when she's no longer here, it will be changed. The important thing I've had to look at is to not get caught in insisting that it doesn't, because I don't want it to change. I like it how it is. It's easy for me. I get, it's not. It's temporary. It's not the end product. It's not the idea, well, it's pretty good, you know, I've got somewhere to walk, and I don't want to change. I don't want to go out into the cold. I don't want to have to do it again. But how many times have we done it again? How many times have I done it? How many times there have been times when my whole life has blown up and I've had to start again. So my life has blown up enough times to make me realize that actually the blowing up, while seemingly devastating, actually just means that when it all sort of settles down, you go forward from there. The clouds clear. You didn't know what was going to be seen because you couldn't see through the clouds, but then suddenly they clear. Now you know what it is you're going to do. Now it exists, and away you go. And that seems to be what life is. That just when you think there is nothing else that can possibly change things, something else changes things.